Thank you, Chris, for the introduction. I've been doing a roadshow recently, Sydney and Melbourne, and before Christmas in Brisbane as well, talking about some of our more recent results. And Chris is absolutely correct that the share price has been up and down since you guys helped us float in 2014. So we're the only float in resources in 2014. It's a very difficult year for resources, let alone exploration companies. This is the 12-month graph, and as Chris has alluded, it's certainly responded to some recent drilling results that we've been seeing in our quest to discover a porphyry system in Victoria in particular. The entire management team is ex-Integra Mining. We were taken over in 2013 by Silver Lake Resources in a $426 million deal. We all rotated into this asset and have been, and with your support, floated it in 2014. But what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for a very significant gold deposit. These porphyries, and particularly the ancient and alkalic porphyries, are some of the biggest gold deposits in the world. Cadia Valley there at around 40 million ounces, and Pebble in Alaska over 100 million ounces. So we're talking a really big target. This is big picture stuff. This is the share price since you guys helped us float, and I describe it in four real phases. We had the exuberance phase where we had come to market after doing some geophysics, some IP and some gravity, and we had a great target to drill, so we brought it to market. We drilled the target, and as it turns out, often in geology, Mother Nature has different ideas. We hit a low-angle structure that offset everything, and so we went into what I call the WTF phase, where we were trying to figure out what was going on. We had to bring to bear a lot of really high-end science, sulfur isotopes and white micas, and bring in a bunch of consultants to try and figure out what had happened to this system. And then we went into the third phase after having done all that work, which was test the theory sort of phase. We've been producing some good results. I'll go through some of those with you now, and I think that's really why the share price has started to respond, is because the test the theory phase has come up with some good numbers, and more recently, in the past couple of weeks, we're starting to look like we're very close to a potential discovery. The fourth phase, of course, being the discovery phase. So our projects, primarily located in Victoria. Our main project is the namesake project, the Staveley project, and we have the Ararat project with a small VMS deposit on it. Last week, we did a deal with Navarre to pick up their Black Range tenements that surrounded ours, and we had acquired the Yarram Park project off Diatreme Resources about 2 years ago. So we're the main player in this belt. If you compare this belt to the Lachlan Fold belt in New South Wales that hosts Cadia Valley, et cetera, there's dozens of players there. We're the number one player here. We do have a project in Queensland. There were results out earlier this week, as Chris alluded, but they're reconnaissance, early stage, but very encouraging. We do have resources in Victoria. At Ararat, as mentioned, a small VMS deposit, and at Staveley, it's a chalcocite-enriched blanket. It's a weathering product of the porphyry. Sits between 30 and 80 meters below surface. But the real prize for us is trying to find the gold-rich porphyry underneath this. So we have a number of these opportunities in the belt. As I say, we control the belt. So in terms of attraction to a major player, we've got our foot on everything that's important in this area. There are a number of porphyry opportunities along the belt. The main one that we're concerned with at the moment is Thursday's Gossan, but within the next month or two, we'll be testing Tura West and Mount Staveley as well. Mount Staveley never had any drilling in it historically and never was recognized as a porphyry. So this was the test the theory stage, where we brought 20 drill holes into an area where there had been gold mineralization. At Integra in the early days, we had a shareholder who used to say to us, "Geez, boys, I wish you would stop drilling where the gold is and start drilling where the gold is." And then we made a discovery and made him very happy. But really, that's what we've done here, is we've been drilling in the area where the gold is, and we've been getting the results. So those 20 RC holes started generating some pretty impressive sort of numbers. Because of the water in the area, a lot of the holes didn't get to depth, and so we followed them up with diamond tails. So these are real proper porphyry copper gold type numbers. good intervals on the sections, nice RC intervals, but as I say, a number of the holes finished in mineralization. We put some diamond tails and twinned some holes, and we got some much bigger intercepts, like 124 meters of 0.3, bit of gold, etc., 50 odd meters, another 85 meters on this other section, 88 meters above it. And we're looking at now seeing the fluids coming off a porphyry system, and so the hunt was on for the porphyry. As an analogy to Cadia Ridgeway, this is one of the nicest deposits known in Australia, high grade. It had production up until 2012 of 4.5 million ounces, not to mention 480,000 tons of copper. It produced at a negative cash cost. So the copper production paid for mining and processing, and the gold they got for free. So all of those ounces were profit. And it's a small deposit. So these are some of the results that they had in drilling prior to the discovery. The RC hole up the top was the first RC hole, 8 meters at 0.5% copper and 0.4 gold. Diamond hole followed it up, got 118 meters at 0.1% copper. Then they extended that hole a year later and got another hit at 102 meters at 0.4% copper and a little sniff of gold as well. A year later, they came through and they drilled the discovery hole 200 meters to the west, and bang, off it went. So this is an indication of the very steep grade boundary between either you're in it or you're out of it in these types of deposits. They got into the magnetite veining zone with bornite, and that's where the gold goes crazy, and they've got that 84-meter intercept of 7.4 grams. Just a spectacular hit, and it was a spectacular deposit. And it was really related to the type of veining that they got. They got the E1A veins, which are just little squiggly black stripes of magnetite. Then the E1B veins, E designating that they're early. They're quartz veins with magnetite vein walls. And then the E2 vein in the middle, the streaky looking thing, is these laminated magnetite veins with bornite. That's where the gold is. So just remember those E2 veins. That's what we want. So this is our drilling in hole 15. We've got the E1A veins, just those streaky black veins. We've got about 100 meters of these magnetite veins, so it's a big interval. We've also got these veins with the black, quartz veins with the black walls. They're the E1B veins, but we haven't seen the E2 veins that the gold is with. The density of veins, the amount of fluid through this system is amazing. This is a really well-developed system, and we're right on the edge of it. So this is a picture taken from PhD of Cadia. What we're seeing here is the solid green line is where those E2 veins are. They're right in the middle of the gold zone, which is in the red outline. That's where all the grade is. That's where all the ounces are. And then the dashed green line is where those E1A veins, the early ones that we've gone through, similar to those. And so we think that we're only 100 meters or more away from the deposit. So we've conclusively demonstrated that this belt is an alkalic porphyry belt, that Thursday's Gossan is a gold-rich porphyry. The results to date are really good, but we're not yet in the sweet spot, and the grades should go up an order of magnitude when we get into the good zone. The M veins indicate that we are very close to that zone, and now that we've demonstrated that this belt holds these alkalic copper-gold deposits, then every other porphyry target in the belt is very, very prospective, and we've got our foot on the whole thing.